Best things to do in Hanoi for an unforgettable trip. Explore like a local. Welcome to Hanoi, a city where time dances between ancient dynasties and buzzing mopeds, where history, culture, and mouthwatering street food collide in a beautiful, chaotic symphony. If you're planning a trip to Vietnam's charming capital and wondering what to do, what to eat, or where to go, buckle up. You're in for a ride through the very best things to do in Hanoi. And no, we're not just talking about sipping egg coffee, though you definitely should do that too. Let's kick things off with top historical landmarks in Hanoi. First stop, history buffs, rejoice. Hanoi is like a live-action museum where every corner whispers stories of emperors, revolutionaries, and ancient legends. Hoan Kiem Lake and Ngoc Son Temple. Start your journey at the heart of the city, Hoan Kiem Lake. It's more than just a pretty lake with misty mornings and Instagrammable turtles. Legend says an ancient emperor returned a magical sword to a golden turtle here, so basically, it's Vietnam's version of King Arthur, with a turtle. Cross the iconic Red Bridge and you'll reach Ngoc Son Temple, a peaceful island sanctuary that somehow stays calm even with 1,000 selfie sticks nearby. Imperial Citadel of Thang Long. Next, step back, way back, in time at the Imperial Citadel of Thang Long. This UNESCO World Heritage Site has been around for over 1,000 years. It's like the ultimate game of historical Jenga, layer upon layer of palaces, military bunkers, and secrets from dynasties long gone. Spoiler alert, you'll feel like a time traveler. Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. Now for something more solemn, the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. It's where Uncle Ho himself lies in eternal rest. People line up for hours to pay their respects, so remember, no tank tops, no chewing gum, and absolutely no selfies with the man who led a nation. It's powerful, emotional, and a must-see to understand modern Vietnam's roots. Cultural experiences in Hanoi. Now that you've brushed shoulders with emperors and revolutionaries, it's time to feel the pulse of Hanoi. And trust me, this city's culture is alive, loud, and delicious. Attend a traditional water puppet show. First up, a cultural gem you didn't know you needed, water puppetry. Yes, puppets on water. This quirky ancient art form dates back to rice farmers in the Red River Delta who put on puppet shows in flooded rice paddies to entertain the villagers. Today you can catch these performances at the Thang Long Water Puppet Theater, complete with live traditional music, fire-breathing dragons, no joke, and stories that feel both mythical and magical. You'll laugh, you'll be confused, you'll applaud wildly. Explore the old quarter's unique shops and markets. Next, dive headfirst into the whirlwind that is the old quarter. It's a maze of 36 ancient streets, each historically dedicated to a different trade, from silversmithing to bamboo to funeral supplies. Yep, all bases covered. Today, it's a shopper's paradise and a cultural roller coaster. You'll find everything from handmade lanterns to fake Gucci socks, all while dodging scooters and being serenaded by vendors yelling prices you'll definitely want to bargain down. Participate in a cooking class featuring Vietnamese cuisine. Want to take a piece of Hanoi home with you? And we're not talking about magnets? Join a local cooking class, hunt for fresh herbs in a bustling market, learn the secrets behind pho, bun cha, or spring rolls, and then roll up your sleeves and cook your own feast. Pro tip: Vietnamese cuisine is all about balance. Hot and cold, crunchy and soft, salty and sweet. Kind of like your travel mood when you're hungry versus well-fed. Culture in Hanoi isn't locked in museums. It's steaming in bowls, dancing in alleyways, and popping up in puppet-filled pools. Still with me? Good. Because next up, we're heading indoors to explore Hanoi's most fascinating and sometimes chilling museums. Must-see museums in Hanoi. If you thought museums were just dusty old buildings filled with things you can't touch, well, okay, that's kind of true. But in Hanoi, they're also incredibly compelling. These places don't just preserve history, they slap you in the face with it. Gently, of course. National Museum of Vietnamese History. First up, the National Museum of Vietnamese History. This place is like a time capsule in golden French colonial architecture. Inside, thousands of artifacts stretching from prehistoric tools to imperial treasures that scream, "Don't you dare skip me." It's a crash course in 4,000 years of Vietnamese history. And yes, It'll make your brain hurt a little, but in the best way. Think bronze drums, cham sculptures, and ancient jewelry that could rival a Kardashian's. Vietnam Museum of Ethnology. Now let's get diverse. The Vietnam Museum of Ethnology is hands down one of the most eye-opening places in Hanoi. It showcases the 54 officially recognized ethnic groups of Vietnam. And no, that's not a typo. Outside, you'll find full-size traditional houses you can walk through. Inside, it's filled with clothing, tools, instruments, and stories that give you a front-row seat to Vietnam's incredible cultural mosaic. Warning, you'll leave with a sudden desire to live in a stilt house and wear a hand-woven sash. Hoa Lo Prison Museum. And now, for a change in tone, the infamous Hoa Lo Prison Museum, ironically nicknamed the Hanoi Hilton by American POWs during the Vietnam War. Originally built by the French to house Vietnamese revolutionaries and later used during the war with the United States, this place is haunting. Stark prison cells, chilling relics, and powerful photos paint a vivid and sobering picture of Vietnam's struggles for independence. It's not a feel-good museum, but it's one you'll remember long after you've left. A raw, real, and necessary chapter in the Hanoi story. Hanoi's museums don't sugarcoat, they illuminate. Through artifacts, architecture, and the echoes of the past, they reveal a people who've endured, resisted, and celebrated across millennia. But don't get too lost in thought, because next we're heading outside for some fresh air, lakeside breezes, and a whole lot of pedal power. Outdoor activities in Hanoi. If you think Hanoi is all history and motorbikes, well, okay, there are a lot of motorbikes, but there's also greenery, lakes, and landscapes that'll make your camera beg for mercy. Let's stretch those legs, hop on a bike, and breathe in a different side of the city. Stroll through the Hanoi Botanical Garden. Need a break from the honking? The Hanoi Botanical Garden is your leafy sanctuary in the middle of the chaos. Think tall trees, peaceful paths, and elderly locals practicing Tai Chi with a level of grace you'll never achieve, but it's fun to try. It's where the city exhales, perfect for a slow morning walk, bird watching, or just pretending you're in a Zen perfume commercial. Cycling tours around Hoan Kiem Lake. Hoan Kiem Lake in the early morning is a vibe. Locals are jogging, doing group aerobics, or, in some cases, just dramatically waving fans to music. Rent a bicycle and cruise around the lake. You'll feel like a local in no time. Just don't forget to ring your bell politely, or prepare to face the side-eye, TM. And pro tip, if you make it there at sunrise, you'll catch the lake at its most magical, misty, glowing, and almost suspiciously peaceful. Take a day trip to Ninh Binh and Trang An. Now, if you've got a free day and a little adventure in your soul, take a trip to Ninh Binh and Trang An. Imagine Ha Long Bay, but on land. Towering limestone mountains? Check. Serene riverboat rides through caves? Double check. Goats on cliffs doing goat things? You better believe it. It's just a couple of hours from Hanoi and totally worth it. You'll row past ancient temples, glide under cave ceilings so low you have to duck, and wonder if you accidentally wandered into a fantasy movie set. Hanoi's outdoors aren't just parks and lakes. They're where the city catches its breath, and where you get to move, explore, and maybe discover your inner nature-loving warrior. So now that your legs are happily sore, let's reward them with something they'll really appreciate. Food. Lots of food. Street food. Legendary food. Ready? Let's eat. Culinary delights to try in Hanoi. Let's get one thing straight. You cannot, I repeat, cannot, talk about Hanoi without talking about the food. This city isn't just a feast, it's a full-blown edible adventure. So unbuckle that belt, loosen up those jeans, and let's eat our way through the capital. Best street food to experience in Hanoi Street. Food in Hanoi is basically religion, with little plastic stools as pews and bubbling pots of broth as altars. Walk down any alley and you'll smell sizzling oil, smoky grills, and maybe just a hint of fish sauce glory. Start with bun cha, grilled pork swimming in a tangy dipping sauce, served with rice noodles and herbs. Fun fact, it's the dish that made Anthony Bourdain and Barack Obama clink beers in a tiny Hanoi eatery. If it's good enough for POTUS, it's good enough for you. Then there's ban quan, delicate rice rolls stuffed with minced pork and wood ear mushrooms, topped with crispy shallots. It's soft, savory, and somehow disappears faster than you expect. Don't forget nem ran, aka spring rolls, or zoi, sticky rice jazzed up with everything from mung beans to fried chicken. Want to sound like a local? Just shout mot soiga with confidence. Bonus points if you pronounce it correctly. Top local restaurants serving. Pho yes, pho, the soup that launched 1,000 food blogs. But not all pho is created equal. In Hanoi, the broth is clearer, the flavor lighter, and the herbs fewer. Sorry, Saigon. For the real deal, head to places like Pho Thin, where the beef is stir-fried before joining the broth, adding a smoky twist. Or hit Pho Gia Trien, where locals line up before sunrise for a steaming bowl of perfection. You'll slurp, sweat, and sigh happily. Famous cafes for Vietnamese coffee. Now let's talk caffeine. Vietnamese coffee is not just strong, it's turbocharged. Whether it's Café Suada, iced coffee with sweetened condensed milk, or the legendary egg coffee, yes, coffee topped with a creamy whipped egg yolk foam. Think liquid tiramisu. Hanoi's coffee culture is both weird and wonderful. Visit Café Giang, where egg coffee was invented, and sip slowly while pondering how something that sounds so wrong can taste so right. Or chill at a rooftop cafe overlooking the lake and let the buzz carry you through the day. In Hanoi, calories don't count. They contribute to cultural understanding. So go ahead, order seconds. Food here isn't just nourishment. It's heritage in a bowl, a baguette, or a humble cup of coffee. Still got room? Good, because now we're going shopping. And no, not the boring kind. Shopping options in Hanoi. Shopping in Hanoi isn't just a transaction. It's a sport, an art form, and occasionally a battle of wits. You'll haggle, you'll hunt, and you'll walk away with treasures that scream Vietnam louder than a trumpet made of fish sauce. Explore the night market in the Old Quarter. First stop, the night market in the Old Quarter. Open every weekend evening, this buzzing stretch of street transforms into a river of light, noise, and bargains. You'll find clothes, souvenirs, knockoff sunglasses, LED toys that make 0 cents, and we love it all. And if you're thinking of buying something, anything, just remember, bargain like your grandma taught you. Start at half the asking price, smile, walk away dramatically, it's all part of the dance. Visit local art galleries and craft shops feeling artsy, Hanoi's got you covered. Wander into tucked-away galleries in the French Quarter or around Natho Street where you'll find beautiful lacquer paintings, silk tapestries, and contemporary Vietnamese art that's way cooler than your Airbnb wall. For traditional crafts, check out places like Van Phuc Silk Village or Bat Trang Pottery Village if you're up for a short trip out of town. Spoiler, there will be vases, many faces. Souvenir shopping at Dongshuan Market. Finally, end your spree at the legendary Dongshuan Market, a sprawling, no-nonsense indoor market that's part maze, part fever dream. Here you'll find everything from dried squid to Hello Kitty socks to communist memorabilia, sometimes all on the same shelf. It's chaotic, loud, and smells vaguely of incense and chili oil. In other words, it's peak Hanoi. You might get a little lost, but hey, that's half the fun. Whether you're shopping for keepsakes, kitsch, or couture, well, fake couture, Hanoi will send you home with more than just memories. It'll send you with baggage, the good kind. Now the sun's gone down, but Hanoi is just getting started. Ready to see what the city looks like after dark? Let's turn up the volume. Nightlife in Hanoi. So you've done the temples, the markets, and stuffed yourself with enough pho to qualify for Vietnamese citizenship. What now? Easy. Hanoi by day is charming, but by night, she's electric. Popular bars and pubs in the Old Quarter. First stop, the Old Quarter, where nightlife is squeezed into every tiny alley and overflowing onto the sidewalks. Head straight to Ta Hien Street, famously known as Beer Street. Here you'll find rows of tiny stools, cold bottles of Bia Hoi, local draft beer for less than $1, and an international crowd that's louder than your uncle at karaoke. The vibe? Casual chaos. It's a street party every night, and everyone's invited. No dress code, no fancy cocktails, just good vibes, cheap beer, and possibly a drum circle you didn't sign up for, but are now leading. Live music venues for an evening out. Want something with a little more soul? Hanoi's got live music, baby. From smoky jazz bars to indie acoustic cafes, the city hums with sound. Check out Binh Min's Jazz Club, where Vietnam's jazz legend Quyen Van Minh performs in an intimate candlelit venue. Or visit Polygon Music or Den Bar for eclectic live sets ranging from funky fusion to straight-up rock. It's the kind of night where you sip slowly, tap your foot without realizing, and think, dang, Hanoi's got groove. Night markets for evening shopping. If you're more midnight shopping than midnight shots, Hanoi's night markets have your back. Stroll under fairy lights, snack on grilled skewers, and browse stalls selling everything from handmade accessories to the most questionably branded t-shirts you've ever seen. Hanoi's nightlife isn't about glitz or glam, it's about connection. Strangers become friends over clinking glasses, voices join harmonies in late-night cafes, and every alley echoes with the buzz of a city that knows how to live. And if you think this is the end, think again. Because outside Hanoi's borders, the adventure only gets bigger. Unique day trips from Hanoi. Let's face it, as much as we love Hanoi's energy, sometimes you just need a change of scenery. And the best part? You don't have to go far to find jaw-dropping landscapes, ancient wonders, and a whole lot of, wow, is this real? Visit the Halong Bay for stunning views. First up, the legend, Halong Bay. Just a couple of hours away by road, or a nap on a comfy tour bus, you'll reach a place where limestone karsts rise dramatically from emerald waters like something straight out of Avatar. Hop on a boat cruise, kayak between caves, or just lie on deck pretending you're in a luxury commercial. No judgment. Bonus, some tours include lunch on board, cave visits, and even cooking classes. Floating bliss? Yes, please. Explore the ancient town of Hoa Lu. Next, a trip back in time, Hoa Lu, Vietnam's first capital in the 10th century. Nestled among dramatic karst hills, this ancient citadel has quiet temples, moss-covered gates, and a sense of mystery that whispers, hey, history happened here. You won't find crowds or big city buzz. Instead, it's peaceful, sacred, and steeped in royal nostalgia. A perfect balance to the non-stop pulse of Hanoi. Discover the natural beauty of Sapa. Okay, Sapa isn't quite a day trip unless your day lasts 48 hours. But if you've got an overnight or two to spare, go. Nestled in the far north near the Chinese border, Sapa is a mountain wonderland of rice terraces, misty peaks, and vibrant ethnic minority culture. Trek through remote villages, eat with a local Hmong family, or just sit on a hillside with a cup of tea and say to yourself, I never want to leave. You'll mean it. These day trips, or mini epics really, are the perfect way to complement your Hanoi experience. Whether it's sea breezes in Ha Long, ancient echoes in Hoa Lu, or cool mountain air in Sapa, each destination adds a whole new color to your Vietnam palette. But before we wrap up this adventure, let's talk about how to make the most of it, with expert guides and experiences that go deeper than Google ever could. Recommended tours and experiences. Okay, you've wandered the streets, slurped the noodles, and bargained like a champ, but now it's time to level up, because the best trips aren't just seen, they're felt. And Hanoi has some epic ways to help you feel every flavor, every rhythm, every story. Guided city tours of Hanoi. Let's start with the classics, a guided city tour. Think of it as Hanoi with subtitles. You'll not only walk through historic sites, but hear the legends, myths, and spicy gossip that never made it into the guidebooks. Whether it's a walking tour through the Old Quarter or a motorbike ride a la James Bond, Vietnam edition, you'll learn things like why the French built so many yellow buildings or how Hoan Kiem Lake got its magical sword vibes. It's not just sightseeing, it's story-catching. Food tours. Focused on local cuisine. Now, for all my fellow food fanatics, buckle up. Food tours in Hanoi are nothing short of a culinary treasure hunt. Local guides will lead you through alleyways you'd never dare enter on your own, to street stalls that look suspiciously humble but serve next-level dishes. You'll try 7 to 10 different dishes in a single night, from sizzling banh seo to mysterious but delicious sweet soups. You'll also finally learn how to eat snail noodle soup without looking like a crime scene. Cultural workshops. calligraphy and traditional crafts. And for something slower, sweeter, and deeply meaningful, try a cultural workshop. Imagine learning Vietnamese calligraphy, brushing ancient characters onto silk like a scholar from centuries past. Or try your hand at making traditional paper lanterns, embroidering motifs, or even crafting your own conical hat. It's harder than it looks. You'll not only walk away with a souvenir, you'll walk away with a skill. Plus, nothing beats the joy of a local grandma saying, "You're not bad at this," in Vietnamese. These tours and experiences, they're not just check marks on an itinerary, they're bridges between you and the locals, between past and present, between visitor and something closer to belonging. And now, as our Hanoi journey winds down, let's take a moment to soak it all in. One last look at everything this magical city has to offer. So, what is Hanoi? It's the sizzle of street-side pork on a charcoal grill. It's the hush inside a 1,000-year-old temple as incense coils into memory. It's the chaos of motorbikes, the calm of a lakeside bench, the clink of beer glasses on a plastic stool. It's history, layered, proud, and pulsing beneath your feet. It's culture, not locked behind glass, but dancing in the streets, steaming in bowls, sketched on crumbling walls. It's not just a place to see, it's a place to feel. From sunrise cyclo rides to midnight markets, from imperial citadels to rooftop cocktails, Hanoi wraps you in contradiction and never lets go. So whether you're a history buff, a foodie, a wanderer, or a bit of all three, Hanoi's got a seat ready for you. And probably a bowl of pho, too. Come with an open mind, leave with a full heart. And in between, get lost, get curious, and above all, get hungry. This isn't goodbye. It's just a hen gap lie. See you soon, Hanoi.